Tough play. Jumping throw. Did he get him? The pick. In time! Jake Berkman, you gotta be kidding me!
Swung on and missed. He sits down 3 back-to-back-to-back.
Squares it up. This one's deep. Way back. See you later! Swings away. It's deep. Right center field. Carry ball. Carry. It's out of here! What a moment. The Woodchucks grab the lead.
And the pitch swung on a comebacker. Right to the pitcher. They're going to pick him off at second. That's exactly what the Woodchucks needed.
Swinging a drive. Deep right field. It's got carry. It's out of here! A grand salami for Drew Berkman!
Welcome to Chucking It Up, Episode 2.
In this episode, we're going to run through some of the new arrivals, the new players coming to play for the Chucks this summer. We're going to review some of former Chucks who played in the second annual MLB Spring Breakout Series. And then we are going to have an interview with Woodchucks manager Corey Thompson. But to start, we have 5 new Chucks that are going to be joining Wausau this summer, and we're going to just run through those players. The first one is Zach Knowlton. He is an outfielder from Kansas, goes to school at Central Michigan. What do you got on Zach Knowlton?
He just looks like a Corey type guy, like what I've noticed in the past. Last year especially, we were a really good defensive team, and we could hit. Like last year, Zach at Highland Community College actually played 2 seasons there. So in 2024, he batted .374. He had 73 hits, 6 home runs, 14 extra base hits, and only 195 at-bats. But his defense, like I said, his fielding percentage was .991. That's pretty good defensive player right there.
Yeah, and we all know Corey does have a type, so he should fit right in with the Chucks.
And with Zach also, he in his conference last year, he was all Jayhawk Conference honorable mention. So that's pretty good right there too. And he can run. He had 14 stolen bases. So I mean, batting .374. I don't care what league you're in. That's
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see Zach. He plays outfield, so got one of our outfielders, knowing Drew Berkman won't be back because he doesn't have any eligibility left. So there's a bat in the outfield and a good defender. So that should be, can't replace Drew's defense, but .991 fielding percentage, that should help.
Some big shoes to fill.
Right.
And then
you got one?
Go ahead.
I was going to say we have another guy. This guy's out of Grand Canyon University. We've had a lot of former Chucks there. Mark Furman, the guy who places all the Chucks. He says we've got a few good ones before from here, so I'm sure this would be no different. It's Brody Sexton. He's a catcher. He's a righty. He's from Arizona, where Grand Canyon's from. Another guy that bats really good. Last season at Iowa Western Community College, he hit .342, 17 RBIs, and 2 home runs in just 29 games. And like that career fielding percentage in 48 games is .994. Like, we should be a really good defensive ball club with these kind of stats. If these carry over, with Corey, I don't see it not carrying over.
Yeah, and then another one. This guy's an infielder from Sioux City, Iowa. Also went to Grand Canyon. It's Kale Weaver. I think that's how you say his last name. Another righty. What do you got on?
He went to Des Moines Area Community College, so another one out of Iowa Community College. His career at Des Moines Area Community College, he was a .340 average hitter for the career now. 83 RBIs, 7 home runs, scored 82 runs. Last year was his best year. He led the Bears, which was his old team, with a .389 average and an on-base percentage of .469, while also driving in 59 RBIs and 30 extra base hits and only 216 ABs. And the team he played for, they went to the NJCAA D2 World Series, and it was their first one in 10 years.
Yeah, so I think another good player that, like you said, will improve the defense.
Yeah, and for our fourth out of five guy, we have a relief pitcher, Max Bianchini from USC Upstate, which is funny. We had a Woodchuck last year, Vance Sheehan, from USC Upstate, so they're teammates. So hopefully he brings Vance back with him. Vance had a great Northwoods League last year, had a lot of pop for an infielder. But back to Max. Last season, he appeared in 10 games, had a 3.13 ERA with 28 strikeouts in 23 innings of work, allowed no extra base hits. And this season, as of Monday when I took these or whenever, so he might have played a game since then or whatever, this season he's appeared in 7 games, all in relief, 8 Ks. His best performance was against Boston College, which he allowed only 1 hit in 3 innings of work and got the win. So sounds like a solid pitcher to fit in with what we had going on last year. So
I'm not familiar with USC Upstate. Is that out in California?
South Carolina.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense too. Okay, and yeah, let's get to our fifth newcomer here, who's very familiar with Wausau since he is a Wausau native. It's Sam Nitsky, who is again a Wausau native, and he is a pitcher from Angelina College.
Yeah, he's actually from Texas, and that's where hometown is Wausau. He's a native there, but he grew up in Texas, and that's where Angelina is. It's a college in Texas. He actually can throw major gas, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And the funny thing is, an ironic thing is, he was a 2024 Northwoods League All-Star, Northwoods League All-Star for the Badlands. He had, in Northwoods League, he had a 4.04 ERA, 35 strikeouts, and 35.2 innings. So a solid summer, it sounds like, for Sam.
Yeah, it'd be cool for him to be playing for the hometown team, if you will.
Yeah, I saw his Instagram story after they had announced it, and it was actually, remember when in the Gantner years, they had the tan jerseys with the black sleeves?
Yeah.
That's how old it was back. It was Woody in that uniform signing one of his things for him, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool when I know a lot of the players come from all over, but it's cool when some of the local kids get to play for the Chucks.
Yeah, like the Berklands, since their family's here. I know it was big for them. They went to a lot of games when they were visiting their grandparents in the summer, and then they actually get to be one of the guys out there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So,
Okay.
and we said we were going to keep tabs on former Chucks. So these guys that we just announced are the upcoming guys who are signed on to the team are ready for this year. These guys are ones that are performing at the major league level. These, I think you have more information on this game. I really don't know much about it, but what's it called again?
It is the second annual MLB Spring Breakout Series.
Yeah, and I think it's the Grapefruit League and the Cactus League, and a select few players on those teams get to showcase their talents in these exhibition games for these two spring training leagues. And there was 4 former Chucks that made the rosters. One from the Arizona D-backs was Gino Groover. He played with the Chucks in 2021. He's the 10th rated prospect in the D-backs farm system. And these are all of these rankings are per MLB.com. The second one is CJ Kafis for the Cleveland Guardians. He played in 2021 as well. He's the number 8 prospect in the Guardians farm system. Another one is Ethan Pecco. He played in 2023 with the Chucks. He's in the Houston Astros system, and he is the number 10 rated prospect in their farm. And the third one, I've known about this kid. He plays for my favorite team. I'm a big Cardinal fan. Is Zach Levinson. He played with the Chucks in 2022, and he's the Cardinals' 23rd ranked prospect in their farm system.
Yeah, so it's so cool to see these former Chucks going off to do big things like this.
Yeah, and
And
last year in this game we had 8. We had Cade Denton, who didn't make it this year. We had Kevin Kilpatrick, Zach DeLoach, and one other Rocky. I can't think of him. So if he listens to this, I apologize. I can't think of your name off the top of my head. But there was 8 total last year, and these 4 that I mentioned, I believe, were on there as well last year. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll add a few this coming year from last year's team that I could see their names getting called on draft day. So it'll be curious to
so
see.
again, you come to a game this summer, you're watching future major league talent. So
And we got to keep the borough rocking. I want us to have the best home field advantage in the Northwoods League. I don't want teams to want to come up here and play. If we can win all our games at home, we have a good chance to make the playoffs, winning one of the halves. So
yeah, we really got to
but
get that home field advantage, like truly making an advantage.
right, be loud and just be ruckus and fluster these guys and help the Chucks on the field, get them pumped and get the W and protect the borough. So, but without further ado, we will get to the interview with returning for his 4th year, the GOAT, Corey Thompson. And now joining us on the pod is Wausau Woodchucks legend, reigning Northwoods League Manager of the Year, winningest manager in Woodchucks history, and manager of your Wausau Woodchucks, Corey Thompson.
Thank you for the intro. I think my dog likes the intro as well.
Yeah.
Hear him in the background. Hopefully that's not a problem. But no, I appreciate the intro. Happy to be here.
But yeah, the big news that you're coming back for your 4th season.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't be more excited for that.
What brings you back to Wausau for a 4th season?
It's like I told Eric, it wasn't that hard of a decision after the season was over. Mark and Ryan came to me and asked me to come back. I think I thought about it for about a day, and it was a no-brainer for me. You guys alluded to it in your first pod, and with chucking it up, and you guys are right. Job's not finished. I think I said that early, probably halfway through the season last year, and it still stands. Like, we had a great year, broke a lot of records, but didn't break the one that I wanted to achieve. So that's kind of why I'm coming back. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, so going back to when you first got the job, how did you get the job? Did they reach out to you? Did that something you apply for?
Yeah, so the previous manager was Ronnie Richardson, who I grew up with since we were, probably 9-10 years old, playing travel ball against each other, with each other, that kind of thing, and just kind of kept in touch throughout life, and our paths kind of went separate ways for a little bit. But I was managing out in the Expedition League, which is a defunct league now. But I knew Ronnie was with Wausau. I knew that he was getting a pro ball job with the Rays at the time, and then he was going to step down. And I just told him, I said, hey, man, I'd be interested. And he passed my name along to Ryan. And it kind of just went from there. And I guess I interviewed well, and, things kind of took off from there.
And you were an assistant coach with the Waterloo Bucks for one season?
Yep. 2 seasons. 16 and 17, I believe. It's been a while now.
Okay, nice. Yeah, we didn't know you had a different Northwoods League job before the Woodchucks.
Yeah. So being this is your 4th year coming back, why Wausau? What brings you back? Like, what keeps bringing you back here? Like, I know you said the job's not finished, but why Wausau? I'm sure you're getting other offers, or I would think you're a pretty good manager the way it is. But
yeah, no, I appreciate that. Things have came across and passed, but I just like the city, man. I think the way things are ran from the top with Mark and Ryan. Mark's done a tremendous job with this organization. So has Ryan. They've both been here for a long time. But it's second to none. I mean, I could go get a job in another summer league or another summer team in the Northwoods League, but I'd rather not. I think the way that Mark does things is exceptional. If you look at the ballpark, it's clean, throughout the whole stadium. And he's one of the ones that's cleaning it, right? The owner is getting his hands dirty. He's in the midst. When the game starts, he's still working. It's not sit back time for him. Same thing with Ryan. He does the same thing. So I just think that it starts from the top with this organization. And, I can't be more proud to hopefully bring a championship to them because I know how hard they work behind the scenes. A lot of people don't get to see that. So it means something. And then when the fans come out, it's the fans, in my opinion, are second to none in the Northwoods League. You guys got yourself down on the third base line, but also, when we're winning and when it's rolling on a Friday, Saturday night, that place is so fun to be at. Our boys love it. They feed off of it. It's awesome, man. And the weather is impeccable in the summer. I'll tell you that much.
So when it comes to like recruiting players to come play, are you the one reaching out to them?
Yeah. It's kind of different how it works in my job here at Kaiser than opposed to the Northwoods. It's more so who you know in the summer. Ryan True helps a little bit with it for sure, but it's really about what kind of contacts I've made across the past. And if you look at the rosters that we've had my previous 3 years and what's going into this year, they're from similar schools, right? You got your South Floridas and Southern States schools, and that's where my contacts are. I know Ronnie had the same kind of contacts before me, and the manager before that was kind of Midwest-ish. But it's really just coming from, what I know and who I know. But yeah, I think we went through 80-something players last year, and I've dealt with all of them on a phone call, plus their coach, plus probably another coach, right? So it's nonstop for me, but it's something that I love to do. I love to work the phones because, if I'm working the phones and doing it tirelessly, it's probably going to mean that we're going to have a pretty good, talented team.
Yeah, we've talked to some of the players, and they want to play for you, which has to feel really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we try to build. I've had Kelton Caldwell for, my 3 years up there now. Nolan has been with us for the last 2 years, and it's an environment that we put together. I write it on the lineup every day. Selflessness. These guys are coming up to the Northwoods for themselves, right? To get better, but also to get seen by scouts and hopefully move along. But if you can make the summer about winning and learning how to win as a team, I think that's only going to help them in their pro ball career. My dog agrees. and in their life in general, right? So I just give them the tools to kind of do that, give them the freedom to be who they want to be and who they are, and they kind of take it from there.
So, based off that, from your point of view, so this is a two-parter. So, from your point of view as a college coach, I don't know how much you see it in your division with the NAIA, but how much has the NIL and the transfer portal affected college sports and building a roster for summer baseball?
Yeah, we don't see it a ton at my level, but I do see it in the summer a lot. Whether it's, I can't throw out specific names, but, we've had, like you guys talked about it, we had Max Galvin last year, Solis, they all went on these trips during the summer to multiple colleges. They're coming up, and it's kind of crazy to say this. Those two particularly were in situations where they were coming up as free agents, for lack of a better term. They were coming from a school that didn't want them back or they didn't want to be back there or whatever. And they were coming up to play. And they played well enough to go to Power 4 schools where they wanted to be. And it ended up with some NIL stuff, and I know some things can go south with that or be positive. It's kind of a tricky thing. I don't deal with it firsthand, so I can't speak on what it actually looks like. I just know that there is some money on the table for some guys, and money can be made in the summer.
Yeah, and like you touched on that, you had 80 some players last year, and obviously guys don't stay all year. You guys come and go. How difficult is it when guys come mid-season to get them, acclimated and to are there chemistry issues when guys leave and come in mid-season?
There can be. I think last year was the easiest, accommodating some of those guys that came mid-season. I think that was the easiest, right? Because we had the Galvins, the Sallees, the Birkeland brothers. And on top of those good human beings, we were winning ball games. So if you're coming to the Woodchucks midseason, you were on a winning team. So it was easy to kind of fall in line there. In years past where we have made the playoffs, it was different because we were in a hunt and it was a little bit more stress. But like I said, going back to the coaching staff of who I had with Kelton and Nolan and those guys, we just kind of made it easy to come in and be yourself and play baseball at the end of the day. So much stress is on these guys at colleges and, hey, you have to be drafted this high or whatever. I don't really care about that. I want to get back to the grassroots of playing baseball and then have fun doing it. And then there's a guy in the stands that's going to say you're either good enough or you're not at the end of the day. But we want to have fun doing that, right? So that's where we're at.
And that's what I heard. That's what I heard most from players, like you just alluded to. They said they love playing for you because you just let them go play ball.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the goal. I tell them straight up, like when they get here, I'm recruiting you for a reason because you're probably pretty good. And then it's up to you to go produce. I'll help you on little things, learning how to, take advantage of certain things inside the baseball game. But more so, I'm there to help these guys become a team, learn how to win every day, right? In college, we're playing 3, maybe 4 games a week. In the Northwoods, we're playing 7 games a week. And you got to be ready to go every day, especially as a position player. So I think that's my goal, to get them kind of ready for the next level where you're playing 162 games and you got to be ready to go. But you have to love baseball to play in the Northwoods. And I think there's no other league in the country that'll get you ready for the minor leagues and then obviously the big leagues.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on that too. Like in the last pod, we talked about how the Northwoods League is a premier summer league. For people that outside of the Northwoods here, is it really seen as that premier league?
Yeah, absolutely. There's little pockets in the country that have their own, whatever. I know California has the West Coast League. Florida has a couple leagues down here, then the Coastal Plains. And there's a Valley League, but day in and day out, I mean, it's the Cape Cod and the Northwoods League. And you see many of our guys come to the Northwoods as a younger guy, freshman, sophomore, and then end up in the Cape in the next year. And then the year after that, they're in a draft, right? Or they're a top 5 rounder, so it is a premier league. There's no question about that. Whether you're from California, from Florida, we have people from all over. If you look out rosters throughout the league, it is very considered as a premier league.
And are you aware that you've coached over 20 MLB draft picks? Do you keep track of that? Just maybe in the back of your head?
In the back of my head, it's not something that I write down every single time they get drafted.
Right.
But yeah, it's in the back of my head, and it's becoming more so in the front of my head because I coached down here at Kaiser University in West Palm Beach, and currently spring training is going on. We got the Astros and Nationals in West Palm, as well as the Cardinals and the Marlins spring training complex up in Jupiter, and I live right in between West Palm and Jupiter. So I get to see guys, in spring training. I get to see guys that are just recent draft picks play in low A in the complex league. I got to see Zach Levinson last year, former Woodchuck, a couple of years ago. So I get to see these guys, man. Like I coach them in Wausau, in a small town up in Wisconsin. They get drafted and they come down to West Palm or wherever, and kind of get to rekindle that flame a little bit and get to see what their journey is about to start in professional baseball. So it's a fun spot for me down here, coming from Wisconsin and then coming down here and seeing their growth, man. It's been awesome.
Are these players getting like recruited by multiple Northwoods League teams too? Like, are they having to pick which one they want to play for?
There's a little bit of that. I would say more so it's based on coaching staffs, especially at the bigger schools. If I have a good connection with a coaching staff, just say for example, UCF, Central Florida, they're probably more apt to send me guys because they've had success with Wausau. They've seen their players get better, that kind of thing. So it's more so recruiting the coach, right?
Okay.
And if the coach trusts you, then he'll send you those kind of players. So, the smaller schools, the D2s, the NAI, talented guys, I'll have to recruit a little bit more. But, the higher level schools, it's more so talking to the coaches, making sure that they trust you, making sure that they know that it's a good place to send players, where they know that they're going to get better, but also taken care of at the same time.
So, what was I going to say now? So, like, is it true that the out west guys that we have, like the BYUs and stuff, that's called Caldwell's region? Is that where we get some of those guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Kelton has done a tremendous job with us, with the BYU kids. Pretty much every player that we've had from BYU has been an all-star, or a draft pick, or a borderline all-star. So Kelton's done a great job out there. He killed it. He went to BYU as well, and it's just kept that relationship with that coaching staff, and has really helped us in Wausau for sure.
So, like, the kids that we've signed so far that have been announced, there might be more than, I think there's 5 so far. They're all from Midwest or Arizona. Yep. So how are you getting those kids? Like, they're really not your Florida area kids, like you just said.
Yeah, no, there's more to come, obviously. I've ventured out to Arizona a little bit more this year than I have in the past. And it's just because, one of my contacts took a job out there. He was kind of at a school in the South, and took a job, in Arizona. And that's kind of how I got those guys. And that particular coach has been great to me and has helped me, through the years and sent me nothing but great players. So those Arizona guys are going to be fun to watch. I know one arm that we've signed was in Badlands last year. I'll be honest, I missed on him last year. He wanted to come here. He's got family in Wausau. And it just was something that we didn't work out. And he tore it up in Badlands. He's tearing it up right now at his school, and just was like, Coach, I want to play in Wausau. So I signed him up, and it looks like it's going to pay off in the end. He's tearing it up at school. Was an all-star last year in the Northwoods League. So I'm excited for that kid and what's to come.
Yeah. So you're obviously aware that you're the winningest manager in Woodchucks history, and you passed Jim Gantner to take that spot. Like, that's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's some guys that keep me humble, which I love. I know Steve Foster was the manager in Wausau for a little bit. He played in the big leagues. He's a coach in the big leagues, and he's a Colorado Rockies scout that comes to our games in the summer as well. He kind of keeps me humble. He's like, hey, man, they only played like 50 games back then, so you can't – you're racking up the wins where, we could only get to like, 30 wins instead of 50. So they keep me humble, but no, it's pretty special to be in those kind of class with Foster and Gantner and those guys. So, no, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride, and like I said, hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah. So, and your brother is for the Giants.
Yep. Yeah, he's a pro scout with the Giants. Actually, just had dinner with him tonight. He's down here watching some spring training games. So it's always fun when he gets assigned to West Palm Beach. I get to kind of hang out with him. He lives in New York, for most of the year, but he gets assigned to this coast for spring training. So just got to hang out with him tonight and the next couple nights for a little bit for spring training. And but yeah, no, it's baseball kind of runs in the blood and in the family, especially with myself and him.
Is that eventual goal of yours to maybe managing or coaching the majors someday?
That would be awesome. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, but I think, my end goal in this game is to be a head coach at a small college. It's a little bit more hands-on than, managing in the big leagues or managing at a Power 4 school, like a big-time school. You get to kind of build a relationship more with these kids, get to kind of have more of an impact on their life, which I love. And that's kind of where I see myself. I've been offered some other jobs, but I just kind of see myself at a small school being a head coach and being there for a long time. And that's kind of what I want to do.
I see you guys at Kaiser are just off to a hot start. You're 19-2. You're 20th ranked in the NAIA. Is that a good start for you guys? Like, I looked at your past years, and it looks like you're just smoking.
Yeah. Credit to our head coach, Coach Brooke Fordyce. This is our best start in Kaiser history. So, yeah, we're rolling a little bit. This weekend was big for us. We got a split. I think we're number 20 in the country, playing number 7 in the country. And we split the series. So we were on the road, so it's okay to split on the road. We just got to win at home this weekend. But our head coach, Brooke Fordyce, does a great job. He played in the big leagues for 10 years with numerous teams. He was a catcher. He played with Baltimore, Chicago, the Reds. So there's a lot of baseball knowledge there. And it's just funny how small the baseball community is. Donnie Scott and Madison, the team down south, as you refer to them, was actually Brooke Fordyce, my head coach. Donnie was Brooke's catching coach with the Reds when my head coach was in the minor leagues. So it's a whole full circle thing for me, and I think that's why I'm so close to Donnie over there. He's been a mentor for me. He's also a South Florida guy. And then Brooke, having that relationship with Donnie, it's kind of a full circle thing for me. It's just a great mentorship from the both of them, playing at the highest level, coaching at the highest level, and then me just learning and picking both of their brains every day.
Yeah, going back to that team down south, is that to the players? Is that like a legit rivalry? Do you want to beat them obviously every time?
100%, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I know my first year, it was Madison or bust, and then my second year, it was Rapids. Kind of put together a team that was just unbelievable. That blew us all out of the water. We ended up making the playoffs and lost to them. But Madison's always been the big gun. On paper, they always have, the better talent on paper. But, Donnie Scott's always been a mentor to me in my 4 years up there, and somebody that I've gravitated to and learned from just from afar, but also, in passing. But he knows, like, he'll send me texts throughout the offseason. Hey, it's your ass this week, man. It's your ass. This is my season. I'm coming for you. So it's fun, right? He makes it fun and he makes it competitive. And every time we play, like, I know it's his A game. I'm getting his best. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, that's what he's going to get from me. And he told me that when we won the first half. He's like, hey, you earned that one. You're not going to earn the second half, but you earned that one. So that's what I want, man. And I think our players want that. Otherwise, what are you playing for? I think they want to play for something. They want a rivalry with someone. They want to like have some skin in the game. And that team down south, they definitely add some skin in the game for sure.
So I got a question. Eric, help me out on this play here. So last year, you used to play.
It was against Duluth Huskies on Sunday, June 3rd, 30th. There was a guy on third, a guy up to bat. They said he got hit by the ball, but the ball went back to the backstop. So the runner would have scored if it went to the backstop on a pass ball. Yeah, you know what we're getting at. You argued that it was a pass ball because you wanted the run to score. You gave him your money's worth, and you subsequently got ejected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were, obviously very heated for good reason. What does it take for you to get to that point? Like, obviously that was justifiable. That was a horrible call, and I think the whole crowd knew too. But like, does it take a lot to get you to that point where you do get tossed?
If you ask my assistant coach, Kelton Caldwell, no. He's usually the one in the dugout saying, "Hey, now's not the time." So no, I'm pretty fiery. I'm pretty competitive. But that was a moment where, I didn't feel like we were playing our best. If I'm not mistaken, it was a day game, and everybody was just kind of like,
yes, it was a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Yep. It was just kind of like, let's just get through this one. Let's just kind of get to the next day kind of thing. Or they were looking forward to, having the night off, which is, it's valuable in the Northwoods League. Sundays are great because it's almost like an off day, but it's not. But we just weren't playing our best baseball at the time. Whether it was right or wrong, I just didn't feel like we were playing our best. I probably gave the guy too much of a mouthful, and I paid the consequences for sure. But it was more so, hey, like, boys, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna fight for you, and I hope you have my back. And they did, man. They stepped up, and I think we won the next few in a row after that, and I think it was a stepping stone. And I told the league, hey, this is my one and only, because I know the price of the fine gets a little steeper on this, so this will be my one and only, and it worked out. But I'll be a good boy the rest of the year.
No, it was really cool to see that like passion and just seeing you have your guys' backs like that. But do you know like where the line is when you're arguing a call like that?
Yeah, most of the time, and if I go that hard, I'm doing it because I'm having their back, right? I'll go out and I'll say something to an umpire that might not be a game-changing call, just so that the boys can see me. Hey, coach has my back here, but there's a line, right? And I want to respect the umpires, and I think they do a great job in the Northwoods League. They're trying to prove themselves just as much as our players are trying to prove themselves. And I see quite often, I see several of them at the NAI level down here coaching or umpiring our games. Actually, this past weekend, we had quite a few guys on our crew. So it's all full circle, but no, man, I just try to have my guys back and let them know I'm with them. That way they don't take the heat, and I will.
My favorite part of that whole thing was, so you got thrown out, you walked down first back to the clubhouse, and you came back out in flip-flops, shorts, and a tee, and just watched the rest of the game. I loved it. I was like, hey, he's back.
Yeah. Probably wasn't supposed to do that, but maybe I tried to disguise it a little bit. I know I got
You were no Bobby Valentine. You were not disguised as well.
I didn't have the fake mustache, but I tried to do the best I could.
Right.
Do you have a major league team that you're a fan of?
Not really. Everybody asks me this question, but my brother obviously works for the Giants, so I'll try to pull for them. I think they have a solid team this year, but I'm more just a fan of the baseball players, the game, the whole 9 yards. I love this game. It's been special to me, so I kind of try to respect it as much as I can. So yeah, I don't. If there's a game on, I don't care who's playing. I'm probably watching it.
Yeah.
What's your take on the MLB commissioner?
That's a hot topic, huh? I don't mind them. I'll say this: I don't hate the pitch clock. I think it's decent for baseball. I think you're looking across all avenues. More and more people are starting to watch the game a little bit more. It's a little bit more exciting. I know the college game's a lot more exciting nowadays, which is kind of my avenue. I think Manfred has done a decent job. I'm only saying that because I see him out in West Palm quite often. So, I don't want him to say anything bad if he sees this interview.
So I'm a big Cincinnati Reds fan.
Okay.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Oof. Here's my take. I would say yes, right? He's a hit king. You let him in, you got to let Barry Bonds in, who I think should be in, both.
McGuire?
Yeah, all those guys.
I think they should all be in.
And I'm going to get heat for that. But at the same time, like, Bonds and Pete Rose are the best two hitters ever to live, in my opinion.
Yeah,
right?
hands down.
Whether you did steroids, whether you gambled on the game, whatever, you're still going to hit the ball. And both those guys did it pretty well. So I think the lifetime ban is over, right? He's now passed. It's time to put him in. Not just for us currently to see it, but for the future generation to come and go, wow, that guy had 4,000 hits and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Who is that? Right? So I think he should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
Is there as a coach, manager, is there like one manager that sticks out like the best of all time to you? Or just a favorite manager?
I love Charlie Manuel. What was it, the 08 Phillies? That guy put together a run, man.
Yeah.
That was no other. But yeah, I mean, I want to say he's a Florida guy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure on that one. And he's kind of my style. He lets the players be themselves, go compete, but behind closed doors, he wants to compete himself. And I think that's kind of who I am. I want the players to compete, but in that coaching office, I'm telling our assistant coaches, hey, we're going tonight. Like, we're playing, we're going as hard as we can go. So I think I got that from Charlie Manuel a little bit. I know my mom was a big Phillies fan, so that's kind of who I grew up watching was Charlie Manuel, for sure.
What's the biggest difference from being a pitching coach to then managing? Like, what's the biggest thing that changes from the two? Obviously, running the team, but
yeah, I think it's just that all the heat's on you at the end of the day, which I don't mind. I think here, being a pitching coach in a game, I'm more so making suggestions. Hey, this guy's hot. He looks good. He's probably a decent matchup, for this kind of deal. And in Wausau, I'll get a second opinion from the pitching coach, but at the end of the day, I'm making that final decision. Hey, I'm going with this guy, and here's why. And if anybody has any questions, I'll take the heat. So I think just more responsibility at the end of the day. In-game stuff, I think that's what it comes down to. But you know, I have a passion for being a pitching coach down here at Kaiser. I think you get more hands-on than even being a manager in Wausau. Um, I'm with those guys. We have 18 down here that I work with, 18 pitchers that I work with down here every day. Um, and it's day in, day out. How you feeling? What's life off the field? It's more of those, conversations about just building a relationship more so than even talking about mechanics or what pitch to throw when. And I feel like if you have a relationship with those guys, then they start to trust you. They start to understand, okay, this is what Corey's getting at, more so than just say, hey, you should throw this pitch and you should do this because I said so. And I think building a relationship with those guys go a lot farther than anything at the end of the day.
So yeah, the Woodchucks give out several bobbleheads a year, and they always have, and we have tons of them in our collection. We've seen, they do Jim Gantner bobbleheads. They've done, Gorman Thomas. When are we going to see the Thompson bobblehead?
Got to win a championship. I told Ryan that. I said, hey, man, I don't have a bobblehead yet. And then I said, wait, I don't want one. I want to win a championship. So I think maybe this year, I don't know, but I want to win a championship. So if we do that, then I'm all for a bobblehead. I don't want to jinx anything yet.
So maybe I'm breaking news. Maybe I'm not. But so Gannon Ruckman works for the Chucks. Nolan, I heard, is becoming a dad, so he's not back.
Correct.
So what's your coaching staff look like? If you want to reveal, you don't have to. But what does that look like? Because you're missing 2 guys from last year's staff.
Yeah, I'm gutted, man. The guys have left me. No, Gannon will still be up and around. I don't know if he'll be in the dugout every day, kind of like he was, but I know he'll be around Wausau. He's been nothing but great. I've heard nothing but great things up there from him, doing what he's doing with the Chucks, and then obviously the travel ball stuff with the clutch. But I'll have pretty much a new coaching staff with some familiarity in the league. New coach will be Jake Schultz. He is currently at an NAI school as well in Arizona, Embry-Riddle, Arizona. Jake played in Rapids in 21. He was a part of that unbelievable team, or 22. He was a catcher there. The guy knows the game inside and out. I'm excited to have him on our staff. Zach Hept will be our pitching coach. He is like 7'9". Guy's huge, so you can't miss him when he gets to Wausau. But he's a coach at an NAI school as well, Concordia in Nebraska. And they're another top 25 NAI program. So it looks like it's going to be an all NAI coaching staff. We're looking to add one more coach, and I kind of got some fillers out for that, but that'll be kind of for the hitting coach position. But as of right now, I like these 2. I have some familiarity with these 2. Zach, our pitching coach, actually pitched in Wausau a couple years ago. He actually played for Ronnie. So looking forward to these 2. I'm going to miss Nolan and Kelton. They've helped me build what we have now. So hopefully we can continue on with that.
Any players you want to break news on coming back? Yes or no? Can you? Can't you?
I can, yeah. I think I have a thing right here. This guy, huge fan of. Everybody knows he was my favorite player last year. Jake Birkland, definitely bringing him on. That guy has been incredible, man. His brother Drew is unbelievably talented. I kind of brought Jake on last year just, as a favor to Drew, let him play with his brother, that kind of thing. But then little did I know that Jake was so talented. You can ask anybody, any manager that have played against him, they'll tell you. I mean, he was the best shortstop in the Northwoods League. That play he made in the playoffs was just outrageous. What he's doing now at his school has just been outrageous. That kid deserves nothing but credit. So he'll be back. Excited for that one. Christian Smith Johnson will also be back. CSJ, though, is another returner. Great locker room guy. Keeps the locker room very loose. Incredible talent. I think he's very close from putting everything together to be, the caliber player that everybody thinks he can be. So I'm excited for him to come back. Trying to think off the top of my head who's coming back. I would love to have Max Galvin back, but I don't know. We'll see.
I heard a rumor about the other Max. Is that true?
It's on the table. That is definitely on the table. We'll see if that one follows through. So, yeah, I would love to have Salute back. That's for sure. But those are the two that I know of. For sure. You may know better than I do at this point.
Well, I did hear a rumor on Solis, but if you don't know for sure, we'll leave it to that.
Well, tell him. You text him.
But it was from the source himself, so.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go.
No, he said, let me pull it up. Here's what he said to me, okay? I didn't want to break it on here because I didn't know if you knew and I didn't know if he told you. But
we can break it.
He said,
put more pressure
we're going to have him on the pod here soon. He said, yes, I'm coming back.
Done. I got a spot for him.
So now it's in your court. You got to finish the dunk.
I got a spot for him.
What kind of impact and how loud and how much can you hear from third? Like, are we really that loud down third? Be honest. I want honesty.
You may have to ask anyone else but me. I'm like, you can ask Kelton or Nolan or any of those coaches that we have, Gannon, that you guys see up there all the time. I'm laser focused, man. I am laser focused, and I don't hear.
And we want you to be.
The years that we had Petey in the stands, I didn't hear Petey. I don't hear anyone. There's times where games get away from us, whether it's a lopsided score or whatever, that I can kind of hear some people and creep in. But when I walk down to the line, I definitely hear you guys. That's for sure. I know the players do, which is super valuable. They know that the support's there and they love it. So you may have to ask somebody else, but because for me, man, I really don't hear anything, to be honest.
Did you hear our Ball 5 chant last year?
Actually, I did hear that one.
Which ended up being 17 straight balls, but we were told to cut it out.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I heard it, because somebody told you guys to cut it out. Because I heard it and then I heard it stop, and I'm like, wait, that was a ball. Something's not adding up. I'm missing a sound.
We're not stopping this year.
There you go.
Yeah, we're not going to stop.
No, we need the extra leverage.
But I do need. I'm not trying to make this all about me, but rumor has it last year I did for fun the beer bong videos before you had it against Madison. Did those really make the group chat via you? Man,
I'm telling you, yes. So as soon as it got posted, it got sent to me, and I sent it into the group chat saying, boys, if you don't love playing for this team, I don't know who you love playing for. You got guys like this that are willing to, drive, but also post on social media. Not just the beer bong thing, but like just the support that you guys give us, man. It definitely sinks in. I write numerous facts in the locker room that a lot of people don't have access to. The amount of draft picks that it came from Wausau, the amount of big leaguers that it came from Wausau, but also right up there too, hey, know who you're playing for tonight. And I think that's special. And then you go on social media and you do stuff like that, and the boys love it. They love it, man. And that series with Madison, I know we ended up losing. But you can't tell me that first game in Madison wasn't electric for everyone. Donnie Scott came up to me after that game. He said, I don't care if we win it, I don't care if you win it, but that was one of the most fun games I've ever been a part of. And that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the players. I know a couple guys that won't forget that game ever. I mean, Slim, that was one of his best pitch games of all time, and he'll never forget that. That was electric, and yeah, we lost, but at the end of the day, there's some memories that were made, and I was proud to be a part of that.
Are you going to do a beer bong with us when you win a championship this year?
If we win a championship, I'll do it with you. Yes. When we win the championship.
There we go.
And not a first half championship. It's got to be
When I like that. When.
Yes, I will commit to that. When we win a championship.
Let's go.
All right, here we'll end it with one final question and get it out of here. I bet you're tired. You're an hour ahead of us, almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
100%. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but 100%.
Yeah.
I had a hot dog tonight, actually.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks,
right.
Corey. We really appreciate you being on the pod with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys. I love what you've done. I love the social media presence and where it started to where it's at right now with a podcast. Man, this is incredible. And I think you're going to reach a bigger audience than what you guys actually think you're reaching. This is going to not only the former players that obviously know you guys, but the future players as well. I don't know of another team in the league that has this. It's a special place in Wausau, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
It's awesome. And yeah, will you come back on mid-season so we can talk about the season?
Yeah, hopefully we're in a good spot and
Yeah, right.
Playoff hunt. But yeah, absolutely, I will.
All right, we really
Sounds
appreciate you, but
Yeah.
we're going to head out, burrow down, and let's go Woodchucks.
Let's go Woodchucks.
Thanks, Corey.
Yep, see you guys.